presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, S&P and the NASDAQ off a couple of points. No big deal. Volume's a little bit better than yesterday, but if you're looking for a sell-off today on volume, not going to happen. Just a little over 2 billion shares, again, as we start the show. Going into expiration tomorrow, probably not going to be a lot. You know, I'm looking at the options now. I'll have a better call on it tonight. But, you know, normally if you get into these things and there's a lot of options that look like they're askew, you can get some pretty good motion in it on Friday and even buy the cheap 10, 15 cent options and turn them into $1 or sometimes $2. Just not a lot. Hadn't really been a lot since last fall. Maybe September is the last time I've seen any real great plays for white lightning on expiration. I don't see anything now. Maybe I'll see something tonight, but it kind of looks to me like you get into 23.90 maybe for the close tomorrow. Could be 23.85. Just looks like there's not a whole lot of energy left in the market to go higher, and there's certainly not a lot of energy in this market to go lower. We would need some kind of big surprise that I just do not see at the moment. So trying to get something done here. Hang on. There we go. So anything else going on? Pretty quiet. We got a little news to talk about today. But why don't we just get to our history, and then we'll talk more.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1933, Franklin Roosevelt takes the U.S. off the gold standard, removing the yellow metal from coinage in circulation, even banning it as a collectible. Boo, hiss, boo. One of 100 things that he did really horribly wrong. He wasn't my favorite president. A lot of people talked him up. I thought he was kind of I think he kind of took a recession and maybe even a depression and turned it into a lifetime achievement award for making sure we didn't come out of it until there was a war. I think there was a lot of parallels to what we've had the last few years, which is, if you wake up thinking that America's evil and capitalism's horrible, you can prove yourself right. Of course, he came in on the donkey end of a lot of massive speculation in the capitalism. And again, you kind of have to know that people are going to go nuts eventually. Probably should have been a lot of the safeguards that did come in the 1930s, in the 1920s. But no one wants to listen to that. Everybody wants to party like it's 1999. April 20th, just a few days from today, in 1933, Franklin Roosevelt signed an executive order banning the export of gold to settle international accounts. This followed an April 5th executive order that removed gold from commercial circulation and an April 17th decision to sever the dollar's value from the gold price, letting it float. I'm not exactly sure where it floated to, but it didn't do anybody any good. Again, we talked about yesterday in 1933 when he had everybody to start putting money back in the bank, but only about half the people took it out of their mattress and actually putting it back in banks, or at least half the money. But I guess there isn't a road map. I could be a Monday morning quarterback on this. I fail to look through 6,000 years of recorded history and find that socialism ever solved anything. It always made it worse. But that's just me. Other things going on out here. We are on our 107th consecutive day without a decline of 1% or more. Woo, woo, woo. Time to party. No, I am not a socialist. I just don't understand. It's against everything that people react to. Everybody wants everything to be wonderful and good. And I understand everybody that thinks that, if we just had this wonderful health care where everybody was taken care of, it would be great. The reality is that people then use it, abuse it, costs go up, and as they say, it's socialism is the equal distribution of misery. And that's basically what it amounts to. What else is going on? Tesla had a kind of a little bounce last night. There was a couple things going on, I think, in Tesla. And I'll give you the official version, of course, was that they came in and asked for only $750 million of what could have been a $3 billion time back, adding additional shares to Tesla. And, what can you say? Well, they came in a whole lot less. It bounced a bit. To me, the bigger thing for Tesla, and most people probably don't think about it, is that the Trump administration's changing the CAFE standards. That's the corporate average fuel economy. Obama changed it to some ludicrous number that would never, ever be caught. And what that forced a lot of these automakers to do is come up with alternative cars that would never sell, or probably wouldn't sell, most likely won't sell, just to, those are kind of thrown in for the average. What this will kind of do, at least for the next 4 years, is put a little less of a cap on them producing cars that are just out-and-out losers to meet this CAFE standard. But on the same time, that's probably a little bit bullish for Tesla. We won't have as many cars shoved out the door just to meet this kind of bizarre bureaucratic pipe dream of cars that run on air. Even the CEO Mark Fields from Ford said this could cost 1 million automotive jobs. A lot of people are going, well, hey, if you don't build cars to get 150 miles per gallon, then we won't sell cars all over the world. Well, the answer is the market. The market does and works well. Back to my homage to socialism and why it has always failed. Yes, I won't run for elective office. If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve. But kind of interesting to see that a lot of times everybody takes the surface answer on everything. I kind of look a little deeper. Sometimes the answer is really a little less. I think Tesla got a little bounce from this because the big three are not going to be pushing out as many cars to make this the CAFE standard. And Tesla's probably going to get a few more of those sales. Anyway, we'll be back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. I want to talk a little bit about Snap. I had some people email me about shorting it, or people that had shorted. And this is probably a good teachable moment in the market. And that is, everybody's read, about Snap, found out that they've got $1.5 billion of shares shorted already. But there's a lot going on in this, and there's a lot of games. I know we always have new listeners, but this one looks to me like they are setting this one up fairly sweetly to play the game. And what you find out is that when this thing was up at about $29, there were a lot of deals, anywhere from 15 to 20% premiums to short Snap. Now, when you pay that premium, most of the time, if you're a big man on Wall Street, you also get a guarantee. And that guarantee says that the people that have the shares backing it will not be selling those shares or pulling them out of margin accounts. One of the things you can do is pull your shares out of a margin account if you are long, and therefore those shares that are short have to be covered. And that is one of the reasons you see such huge moves in a lot of these IPOs. Not a lot of shares short, and sometimes what they will do is create a market where everybody wants to short something, and then if they have enough shares, let's say you got a couple million shares of this, you've got it in your margin account, and maybe you're a big operator like Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, and all you do is move them out of your margin account into your non-margin account, so all those shares then have to be covered. You've done absolutely nothing, but you've forced a short squeeze into the market. I don't know if I would be long this thing overnight, but I would watch very closely over the next few days to see whether we have any kind of action like that. This thing's starting to go quiet And that's normally the first times you really want to get nervous when you're in a stock that's highly shorted, as much as Snap is for the actual amount of shares that are outstanding. But this is when, reading reminiscence of a stock operator is a great thing to do. What else can you say? It is it is a bare knuckle swimming with the sharks kind of deal, and you got to be up on your game to trade these. Although, like I said, I would not be surprised to see some of the, especially this, either gap up or have a $2 or $3 run intraday, just on them pulling this old trick that's been run 1,000 times in the last 50 years that I know of, since the whole margin thing came about. But just keep an eye on it. A good way of learning how some of these super highly shorted stocks operate. We're going to go and start looking at 52-week highs today. Normally, because it just seems like most of these things kind of had a little peak out here, didn't have a lot of volume, and we're going to probably end up with a lot of little dojis hanging out here. So tomorrow is going to be a little interesting how the market opens up. I'm not expecting a lot of movement, as we said in the first segment, just probably maybe a few points higher. And, of course, option rollover is Monday and Tuesday. Normally you get kind of a push down and then a push back up. And then Wednesday you get a lot more idea of where the market's actually going. So this is one of these times where I always talked about how when they hunted subs in the Second World War, they'd go out and they throw a bunch of depth charges out. Well, those depth charges were like giant fizzies, and all those bubbles would come up, and whoever was trying to listen to the sonar and find the sub they were going to blow up, they had to wait about 2 minutes till all those air bubbles kind of came to the surface, and then they could hear again. And this is kind of that same thing. Options expiration is kind of like dropping a bunch of giant, what is it, manhole-sized fizzies in the water of the market. Well, what a tortured analogy. I'm certain I'm going to win the award this year for the most tortured analogy on that. But anyway, it takes a little while anyway, for all that to work its way out. Normally, I don't put much stock in what happens tomorrow through Tuesday, but generally Tuesday, 2 o'clock, you start seeing where at least the big men of the street are going to try to push the market. Normally, they are successful. So, probably time to keep the market fairly close to your vest, not expect any large movements until probably Monday or Tuesday. And those I would probably fade. If it goes higher, I'd probably be short intraday. And if it goes lower, I'd probably want to see if I couldn't buy what the market when it went lower intraday. Again, I don't think that there's a lot to be made by reading the tea leaves the next couple of days in the medium and longer term frames. Anyway, Apple's up here on its high, very light volume doji so far. Certainly looks like if Apple had hit a high, this 126 level is exactly where this thing would run back down to. It's just hard for me to see, unless something drastically changes, why people are pouring into Apple for that $268 billion that's sitting on the sidelines that they hope comes back to them in special dividends and additional stock and all kinds of rainbows and unicorns. Adobe, another one up here on a 52-week high. Nice little pop out here. Again, giving back almost all of what had popped higher out here today. But volume just a tad bit better on it. But again, none of these things really write home on volume. They're either lower or maybe at best the same. Not a lot of signs of strength. What about the earnings out here later in the show, like Oracle and Dollar General? But this is just most of the ones that are at 52-week highs. AMAT, nice little doji up here on light volume today. Annette. Arista Networks, a nice little pop. This thing has gone to another high, kind of back into the trading range again today. Very light volume. We talked about Arcos Doritos. I knew it earlier in the week. Another 52-week high. We talked about how this thing took off on earnings in South America for McDonald's. That's their holding company. ATRS, which is Antares Pharma. This thing is slowly breaking out of its previous highs. Volume was good yesterday, 2 million shares as it broke through some previous highs. Now this is a $2 or $3 stock, so I'm not going to get too excited. But nice volume last couple of days. Today, though, kind of a little bit of suck and wind, so maybe it's going to pull back a little bit. Alexia Coating Systems, AXTA, another 52-week high. Decent volume today, actually moving up, holding its gap from this morning, so not looking too bad. When we come back, we'll look at a few more.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com and, of course, post a message in the den, but make it understandable. Sometimes I can't read enough into what people say to figure out what they're really talking about. Builders First Source, kind of like a Home Depot, if I remember correctly, making a little high out here, but no volume. This thing peaked on the 2nd of March with 6.5 million shares. We got about 1.4 million shares so far. So what can you say? Blue, this thing's been making higher highs. Now, this one looking like it may have made a reversal signal, at least in the IBB. We're starting to see a few of those. This one went to a higher high today, went to $100.40. Again, we talk about how stocks, when they hit 90, probably going to go hit 100. And this one certainly did do that today, but then kind of gave it all back up and more. The IBB kind of has the same looking stuff. Not a lot of volume yet. My guess is that the IBB pins itself to around $300 tomorrow, unless there's some kind of big news. My thought would be that you'd want to look at that maybe next week if this thing does continue to give signs of a reversal. Borg Warner hit another high, about half the volume that you had yesterday so far. Just a penny or two higher back into the trading range today. Again, kind of a lot of stuff that I'm looking at here kind of confirms at least my call to me that we're looking at kind of flat markets, but with a bias to just a little bit to the upside. Let's see, what else do we have? Cadence Design System, another 52-week high. Had a huge sign of strength. No real change out here. It did spike to 31.89 earlier today, but right back into the trading range. So we'll see that. How does Snap make money? They don't. They lose money. But that doesn't really matter right now on Wall Street. What else do we have out here? Chimera Investment Corporation, CIM. Another little spike out here, fairly light volume, 2.4 million shares yesterday, just a million shares so far. Of course, went to a higher high, pulled back into the trading range here today. CLVS, which is Clovis Oncology, we saw this one have two nice signs of strength, but bigger to me, all these gaps right around the $70 level. We'll zoom in back here where these things have happened. You had a whole bunch of them right around $70 that go back to the August 24th, 2015 area. So you've got into that after filling this huge gap back in here with a monster disappointment on one of their drugs. This thing is back in here. You know, if you were looking at the IBB short, maybe it's time to take another look. Again, I think next week is a better chance to find some kind of move. But you had two moves out here, not near the kind of volume you wanted to see, but still much better than it has been on this. Now, today you get a nice little doji out here. If that ends up being that, you're probably at the best inflection point. If you were buying this thing back on its lows, I'd be pulling the trigger and saying sayonara, ringing the register on that one. Another one that's made its way back up to its gap longer and more than a year ago is Delphi Automotive. Kind of interesting to see this one at highs when a lot of people are talking about some of the issues with car sales as of late. This one goes back to the 4th of 2016, or the January 4th of 2016, where a lot of those stocks gapped down. If everybody remembers, I'd been waiting to get into that Christmas season and short the absolute dickens out of the market. And that was a pretty good time to pull the trigger. We didn't redo it this year, which I thought we might, but we got into it and it just all fizzled fairly quickly. This one, we're basically back up to those levels. They're an auto parts manufacturer, a components manufacturer to lots of different car manufacturers. I think they used to be part of GM, and then they split and started making all kinds of stuff, electronics, computers. I think they make gauges and a lot of other stuff. like that for the automotive industry. This one's finally back to that gap that's been out there for a while. And again, pretty strong volume down today, about half the volume that we saw just yesterday in the last few days, and right back up, man. You can see where all those gaps hit, and it went right almost to the penny today on the open and then reversed back out of it. Electronic Arts, what do we have out here? Electronic Arts, again, a little higher to open, a little bit of a reversal out here. You can call it a little bit of dark cloud cover. I've been hoping for a reversal to buy some of these. This one needs to get back down to this gap at 84 bucks, 84 and a quarter or so for me to get back in it. It hit 91.80, which I like. If this thing would camp back, the odds are good that this thing is going to go to 100. I'm just hoping that it gives me an opportunity to get in. ETN, which is Eaton Corporation. Again, another little tiny bounce out here. Volume's about half of what it was yesterday. We did go a few pennies higher out here. The bear case for a lot of these are not lost on me today. I just suspect that you probably got a few more days before you want to start counting your chickens before they hatched. Little spike, not much volume, back into the trading range again today. European Financial Sector Index, another one. Now, this one gapped up. Not a lot of volume today, but interesting. Let's take a quick look at Deutsche Bank. This thing's just kind of filling this gap that it's had for a few days. I don't see a lot in that. That one's kind of the leader of it. Book, again, just a little higher high. This one, light volume, but not back into yesterday's and previous days' trading ranges. It's holding up here, although on light volume. Now, this is at 145. I haven't done it yet, but I'll do it tonight. Look through the options. My guess is this thing probably expires at 140 tomorrow and pins a bunch of people that were had 140 puts on this stock. Flextronics. What do we have? Light volume, again, 52-week high. No volume on that one. GBT, Global Blood Therapeutics. We've been talking about this one running for about 5 days. It finally hit its unfilled gap. That gap goes back to the 7th of December of 2015. Did so on 3 million shares. Back into that gap today with about 900,000 shares so far. Could you get 40 bucks out of this thing tomorrow? I think you might get a little bit more than that. 41.42 out here. And then look for maybe some kind of pullback on that one. How much time we got? Oh, we got 2 segments left. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. And we'll look at a few more of these 52-week highs and see how many of them held it today.
TFNN has just launched a special event in Tampa with Tom O'Brien taking place March 18th, sponsored by Nadex. Tom O'Brien will be presenting 2 workshops for a combined 2.5 hours of education, bisecting and dissecting his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. March 18th kicks off with a continental breakfast as we get everyone checked in, and that is followed by 2 75-minute workshops with Tom O'Brien. The first workshop from 8:45 until 10 a.m. will cover quality volume, cause and effect, and ABC structures, and the second workshop from 10:15 until 11:30 a.m. will cover swing points, testing, and the Tiger Gartley. Tom will then wrap things up with a question and answer session, which will be followed by a Tiger Luncheon Social on the rooftop of the Westin Hotel. The best part is that it's all free, but you must register to attend. Visit the front page of TFNN.com for all the details and to sign up today, and we hope to see you in Tampa on March 18th.
If you're looking to unearth a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, consider the new Market-Safe Core Commodity CD from Everbank. This 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 4 equally weighted commodities: gold, copper, WTI oil, and sugar, in one powerful CD. With no pricing caps, you can potentially earn an unlimited upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across semi-annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There's no annual percentage yield yield or periodic rate of interest on this index CD. Don't miss out. With certain commodities on the rebound, now is the time to take advantage. The March 23rd funding deadline will be here before you know it. So call 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once more, that's 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're going to go on here. We were talking about Global Blood Therapeutics, GBT. This thing's been on a rocket since $15. So expect a fairly decent retracement. It got back up to its gap. It's done so on lighter volume, so keep an eye on that. That could go up just a little bit. We got people in the den solving the world's ills. Always good. Google. This one was probably the most interesting chart for me today. I know a lot of people have been talking about shorting Google. This is the first time that I've seen a chart in several years that made me think that there was a possible top in Google. Also seeing that they went whole hog on censorship today. And they're going to decide, which sites are offensive and which aren't. Always a very tough thing to do with the best intentions. They did it last year and last fall with the absolute worst intentions and got their hands caught in the cookie jar. I'm wondering if this big other attempt does not once again land them in a little bit of hot water. The chart doesn't look all that good. January 27th, 867 with 3.74 million shares. So yesterday we had 1.33 million shares. We've got into it. We've gone over that high today with 737,000 shares. Yesterday, 1 million shares. There's nothing actually January 27th high with volume. This thing did kind of fall down, came down on very big volume. I think if this was, if I'm not mistaken, this was on earnings and sold off fairly strongly. So when's Google's earnings come back around? Let's take a quick look here. Okay, April 17th. So we got a few weeks. Normally, these things don't roll over before the earnings. They push a little high into the earnings. But the last 4 or 5 days certainly don't show a great deal of volume into this Google high. So what else do we have? Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. 52-week high, a little bit of a pullback. Don't see much in that one. Halo, Halozyme Therapeutics, HALO. This one's back to its previous high. A little more than half the volume right now, so we'll see how this one closes out. This one may close above the previous high of $14.38 going back to November 15th of last year. We were talking about Builder's Choice earlier. Home Depot, just another little doji out here. 52-week high so far. Not a lot of volume, 2.1 million shares. We had 3.7 million shares yesterday. So we'll see if we get, just a little tick, kind of back into the trading range out here. Again, tomorrow's options expiration. I think maybe some of the little stuff that we had here today is just the setup for that. And maybe see this again, we're off 6 points now. Maybe see this thing down a little bit, but there is no volume down from earlier today when we hit 2388. So if you're looking for volume off the top, it's not that. We do have a lot of these stocks that are peaking up and have no volume. My guess is still that we'd want to look into Monday or Tuesday next week before you make any big decisions. Now, the Hartford Financial Group had a fairly big signal out here, made another 52-week high, gave it all back today, and not a lot of volume. That one looks a lot more like dark cloud cover for the previous 4 days out here than anything else. HOLX, which is Hologic, another 52-week high. This one could, with a little bit more, be a little dark cloud cover without much volume to yesterday. They're not the biggest candles in the world, but certainly just looks like this market is rather tired of going higher. Doesn't mean it's coming back, but does mean it's kind of tired. Harbinger, 3 nice big volume days. And we'll see how today comes out of it. But the 14th, you had 2.6 million shares yesterday, 1.7 million shares. Today, 1.3 so far. This one probably going to get kind of close to yesterday's volume. But nice 3 little moves out of this thing when it went sideways from about the 22nd of February into the 13th of March. So you had a nice little consolidation, 3 drives higher. Got 3 little gaps out here. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one kind of roll over. And, you got good volume, good breakout, buy around 1870 maybe, something like that. ICE baby. International Exchange. You can give me a call, by the way, at 877-927-6648, or send me an email at path@tfnn.com. Okay. Okay. What do we have? Nice spike in ICE baby, Intercontinental Exchange, excuse me. February 7th, spiked to $60.54, did so on 7 million shares. We're into that and over it today with about 2.5 million shares. This one looks like it will hold the high, but again, not a lot of juice back in there. Let's see what else we have. A lot of these lower volume stocks. ING. Jabil Circuit, another one that I think is kind of interesting. This thing took off on earnings back on the December 16th, 2514. Came all the way back, mostly had a little spike into this gap up, but the volume is only about 2 million shares compared to that 17 on that gap higher. It's moved pretty much higher since then, and I hadn't really thought about it. I'd looked at it now in retrospect, kind of an interesting idea that's hit me, and that is this another Trump effect, especially with them assembling products here in the United States and the push to do so. They are an electronic assembly manufacturer. And you know what? If you're going to be building stuff here, makes sense that Jabil and some of these other assembly companies should probably do well. Unfortunately, this is all in the rearview mirror for me. I should have thought of it back then, but you got to think that kind of not a bad idea out here, thinking that if you're building more stuff here in the United States, then there's going to be some electronics controlling it somewhat. And maybe Jabil and some of these other manufacturers are going to have a huge year. Just give me a retrace so I can get back in. KB Homes, another one out here in the home business. Yesterday, a little bit of a bounce. Today, more volume. So a lot of people are thinking that, we get our 3 rate hikes, and that's it. Certainly looks like from KB Homes, at least the reaction today, almost 4 million shares. That's compared to just 2 million shares yesterday. Nice candle, double the volume. Kind of an interesting idea out here that this thing is got some juice at highs with interest rates rising. We'll be back after this.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
What can you say? Lowe's kind of looks like Home Depot. Got a little poke out here today. Not much volume, 3.2 million shares compared to the 4.8 million shares. So we'll have to watch how volume comes in at the very end. But this thing looks like it peaked above and it's going to close back into this trading range today. So you got a couple of those, which is kind of interesting to see then the housing stocks kind of run. I guess the interest rate, a bigger deal for them than it is Lowe's or Home Depot. Although I think that there would be enough follow through that you get similar movements in both Lowe's, Home Depot, and some of those home stocks. But beyond my pay grade. Lam Research, again, about half the volume of yesterday, but holding this looks like it is continuing the end of a ABC up on that one. LRCX, MDCO, which is the medicine company. This one tried to go a little higher and then reversed again. That IBB kind of looking a little tired. My guess is they'll bounce it tomorrow to get it to 300 if they can. But, looks pretty tired up there. Momo, we talked about Momo having a lot of Momo. Another one that is popping above the previous high, another 52-week high, but not any volume. Last time we were up here was on the 8th. You had almost 15 million shares. You got about 5 million shares today. This does look like it will hold the high, albeit on very light volume. Micron turtled, prairie dogged the high today. Did so on very light volume, about 15.5 million shares to almost 30 million shares yesterday. So, half the volume so far and back into the trading range. Maxim Integrated Products, a little peak above, and then a reversal back down, very light volume. OLN, another 52-week high. This is Olin Corporation. A little peak on it, back into the trading range today. Volume a little bit better. Of course, Oracle, blowout earnings. Everything that they're doing is starting to pay fruit. This one was one that could have gone either way. They had co-CEOs. Very tough to figure out how that and both that was going to work out. But maybe Oracle is too big for one single CEO. But sharing duties with the ex-CEO of HP and the CFO of Oracle. Maybe it takes two people, two hands on the tiller to move this thing, but what can you say? They were expecting some pretty horrible numbers, and a lot of people were short this thing. A nice pop today, huge volume, and their cloud technology starting to pay off for them. Kind of tough to be in that sector at all and not make money, but pretty good. Wanted to look at Dollar General before the end of the day, too, on its earnings. Again, this thing just popped right back up to its gap down that happened on 7 million shares when we go back to the 28th of February. It went, just tapped it earlier in the day, pulled back lower. Volume is about the same as that gap down. Retail, doesn't matter what it is, very tough sell in the stock markets these days. We were talking about housing and Home Depot and Lowe's. This one, little peak above the high in Pulte Group today, PHM. Volume at least okay. Not what it was on the 10th where you had 10.7 million shares. You got about 5.6 million shares so far. So let's watch these into the close, but looks like a lot of light volume peaks above 52-week highs today. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.